Shalom, Kahalo Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, Bahashim Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them and taught us this truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect. My brother Yashawan back with the World War III Daily Update. All right. And we talk a lot about asymmetric warfare on this channel. All right. And what that is, well, I preface it by saying World War III won't be fought like other conventional wars like World War II, Vietnam, where you send your troops with small weapons and, mortars and tanks and planes, right? World War III will be fought like that, but, from Vietnam, which was the last substantial war, and then you had Desert Storm and things of that sort. But fast forward to today, when technology has grown exponentially, you got supercomputers, you got weather machines, you got HARP, and different ways of waging war. All right? With these computers, what do you use to take down a computer? Well, you use a virus, right? And Esau, this devil, has been using germ warfare for years, going back to smallpox blankets on the tribe of Gad, for example. All right. So, and that's what do you think this variant and all of this shit is? All right. Well, we're in the middle of World War III. And when you see these, what do they call it? Cyber attack. The phrase cyber attack has the word attack in it. What does cyber mean? It means internet, cyberspace. Attack is a command that you use on the battlefield. Attack! Letting you know that we're in the middle of World War III. All right? So this is Revelation 11 and 14. And I always read this to remind you, all of this is in the scriptures. All right? The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. What third woe? Third World War not only cometh quickly, but we're in it. All right? Now, I ran across this really good video, and this guy, everybody's watching him now. I'm sure he's about to grow. I'm subscribed, so I'm going to start this. I used it for the previous video, too, where we were showing about the MOB, the Mob Deep. But this, okay, it's the same thing. Rethinking the dollar, 17 hours ago. Fake health passes, set up against alternative websites, and non-compliance. Let's talk, okay? So they're about to go into where this scamdemic came from, right? And your boy DJ Trump was talking about, he was calling it the China virus. Why was he calling it that? Because we're at war. And that dude knows it. He knows that this is germ warfare. All right, so we're going to play this and get a little insight as to what's going on. This goes into World War III. That's what this video is about. This is the World War III update. You got to know that there's more than one way to fight an asymmetric war. This ain't conventional. Although germ warfare goes way back. All right, but you got to understand this is part of World War III. All right, here we go.
Anyways, the thing I was getting at with that is there's actually an article that I think kind of nails nails a lot of stuff down.
Mm-hmm.
That was made by let me see. It was produced by the Sun.
Mm-hmm.
But if you if you go on DuckDuckGo, whatever, and put a China probed weaponizing coronaviruses.
You said weaponizing. Okay. That's what you use in a war. You use your weapons.
5 years before COVID outbreak.
Okay, Corona. All right, you got to be typing here. Coronavirus. I went 5 years before.
Yeah, China probed. Yeah, and then the rest of that.
All right, let's see what comes up. China probe weapon. Okay, something pops up right here. Okay, first one. All right, Let me see here what we got.
So,
yeah.
Okay, what does this say right here? World War Flu. China probe weaponizing CV 5 years before outbreak and predicted what? WW3 fought with what? Bioweapons. Germ warfare. Letting you know, hey, what does this say? This is the World War III Daily Update. You got to know what's going on in the greater war. This lets you know, hey, if they did this if they were probing 5 years ago and we're experiencing this thing now, what does it mean? It means we're in World War III. Okay.
Is that, and that's the one with the...
This is from the Sun as of May 8th.
Yeah. If you go down on that, down in there, there's a paragraph. I'm trying to find the article myself. I thought I had it pulled up.
Yeah.
There's a part down. It's a little bit further down in the article, but in there.
It says the Chinese language military document titled "The Unnatural Origin of SARS and New Species of Man-Made Viruses Are Genetic Bioweapons." As anybody outlines the Chinese military plans with regard to bioweapons. So the military document. Okay.
Yeah. So if you go down on my phone, it's showing right above a picture of a guy the guys in their biohazard suits.
Yeah.
Right. The paragraph right above it in parentheses or in quotes, it says, for example, a newfound ability to freeze dry microorganisms has made it possible to store biological agents and aerosolize them during attacks.
Okay, now remember when they first started bringing out these shots, they had them in the deep freeze. Remember that? They had to store them at some sub-below temperature before they shot it into you. And that's America doing that to their own people. This reads, for example, the newfound ability to freeze dry microorganisms has made it possible to store biological agents and aerosolize them during attacks. There's that word, attacks. Bio attack, cyber attack. Okay? You don't even know that you're in the middle of World War III right now. All right? When you wake up every morning and say to yourself, we're in the middle of a war, then things are different. You're aware that anything can happen. Oh, well, just go down and roll up your sleeve. But wait, we're in the middle of a war. Can't trust nobody. All right, never trust thine enemy. Well, who's my enemy? Your enemy is the one that's trying to kill you in this war. Okay, and you don't know who your enemy is? All right, we'll watch a little more.
So this is a part of the military document on bioweapons. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is something new to me, man.
So yeah, that that weather modification one, if you go through there, that's actually, I mean, that'll blow your mind, man. If you go through the history of it, they've been screwing with the weather. They've been messing with the weather since the 1800s. And they know how to make it rain. I'm sure you've heard of Operation Popeye and Ranch Hand, where they made it rain over Vietnam for, a year or whatever it was.
I just saw the craziest thing where I think it was Dubai, if I'm not mistaken. They had, I think I saw an article said something about they had drones. They sent drones up to make it rain. It's been so dry there. They basically paid to have it rain to where they had the whole city receive rain from drone technology, some crap like that. I'm thinking like,
okay, so understand that they have weather weapons. They have bioweapons. They're deploying them. People are getting sick. Oh, the Delta variant. Oh, you're in the middle of World War III. Wake up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually, believe it or not, man, it's one of the fastest growing industries right now is weather modification. There's major corporations. They got like their own crypto and stuff that they're using and stuff like that. But it's my thing is that this thing that we're dealing with, people need to pay attention to the skies and then see what happens a few weeks later if all of a sudden we're starting to have more stuff. As crazy as it sounds, I got to wrap the tinfoil a little tight for that one.
But think about this: all the events we've had thus far, it's extreme heat in places where there's never been extreme heat. Like we're seeing all-time high. Canada was like 130 degrees or something crazy up there. Yeah. Texas got a damn snow front came through there. One of my uncle lived down there who was up here. Said he lived there 20 years, never saw snow a day in his life in the area he lives in. But always,
China is quoted as saying, "We're going to defeat the United States without firing a single shot." Okay? Defeat is what you shoot for in a world war. Okay? China wants to be next in line. All right? Like after World War II, the United States emerged as the number one superpower after taking down Russia in the Cold War. China wants to be next in line. All right?
Was 3-4 inches of snow. And then we got floods in Germany, floods everywhere in Europe. Like, so they're deliberately doing this, and that backs up their claim of the climate change. We need to step in. So Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, everybody in mother talk about climate change now because they're deliberately setting all this damn stuff off.
Can Bernie Sanders and Nancy Pelosi speak Cantonese? That's the question. Can they speak Cantonese?
And of course, the grand solar minimum, all that other stuff people talk about as well. So.
If you read through that whole document, by the time you're done with it, you'll be asking yourself, well, how are there ever wildfires that go out of control because they can just freaking make it rain and put it out? They've been doing this stuff long enough. They've got it perfected down. It's no joke. That's
Hey man,
there is a little something to people, that making the videos of the planes flying and following the lines. I mean, there's been lots of tests on, Dane Wigington on Geoengineering Watch. He's kind of a snob and he dashes a lot of people that try to raise awareness of things. And if you try to use his videos, he'll come after you. But
all right. So now that we have a little bit of information, now let's go and look at some of my favorite channels, which we do, which are Deep Journal. And what we're going to look for today, we're just going to look for weather events. Okay? We'll look for the weather events because that's a weapon. All right? So 7 hours, 18 hours, okay. Explosion, under attack, massive explosion. What is this? Air-based missiles attack. Let's see. Massive coup. right here. Warning, jet speed tsunami could hit U.S. U.S. is waiting for massive earthquake. Well, what does HARP do? It can create earthquakes, tsunamis. You could steer hurricanes. Okay? What is this? It's a weather weapon. Okay, there's one. All right. Convoy exploded. Missile attack. Mysterious airstrike, ceasefire. Where are they all at? I seen them the other day. Look at all this mayhem. Okay. Breaking. Where's the water drought and all of that? Black Hawk. Iran missile. This is 2 weeks now. All right, let's look at a different channel. Let's look at the journalist. Let's look for the weather events, okay? Power plant, heavy attack, water bomb. Let's see. Right here. Breaking, wildfire made Turkey hell 4 days ago. He was just saying, hey, you can light these fires and put them out if you want to. Just seed the clouds. Attack on U.S. oil facility. Let's see. Airstrikes. Amazing. I saw so many of them the other day. U.S. under heavy attack. China, massive disaster. Big shock. Where are they? Heavy attack, China. Must be missing them because there were plenty of them. Let's see. Like seaplane. Just look at all the mayhem. It's just crazy. Violent explosion. Well, I'm not seeing them now. All right, let's check secret files out. See if we can find some here. Here we go. America's second largest reservoir, Lake Powell, reaches capacity as low as 33% amid intense drought. Okay. Well, you can make it hot. You can bring a heat wave. All right. Lake Tahoe likely to drop below rim in 3 months. That's a drought. Okay. China flood casualties, toll rises. Okay. There's a flood. There's a drought. Does this look like war? Well, yeah, if you understand that there are weather weapons, yes. Turkey brings 122 forest fires under control. Okay, forest fire. Is that a natural disaster or is that warfare? The drought is different this time. Sacramento region, that's right here in California. Oroville, Lake Oroville is vanishing. Look at all this drought. You think that famine ain't coming? Lake Mead, our biggest reservoir, is vanishing. Okay? About to bring that severe drought over here, and over here it's flooding. Okay? They're manipulating the elements, the weather. Okay? Right here. Apocalyptic 300-foot sandstorm swallows a city as buildings vanish and sky turns orange. I wonder where that's at. Oh, in China. Okay? You see the war going on? Lake Powell drops to lowest level in reservoir's history. Will the drought contingency plan, they know it's coming. The drought contingency plan. Lake Mead. All right. So you wonder why all of that. Well, these are natural disasters. What do they have to do with war? Well, when you can control the weather and use it as a weapon, when you can use a virus as a weapon, then they all have their place right here. All right. China blasts dam to divert massive flooding. Okay, well, where's the flooding coming from? Strong typhoon hits Shanghai, China. Look at that. Is that a weapon? Western cities' water shortages show we have little time to waste. This is just weather. Okay, only a week ago. You understand what I'm saying? Typhoon sweeps into eastern China. Lake Oroville shows the shocking face of California's drought. All right, this is on I-5. The drought-stricken western U.S. braces for water what? Water wars. What is water wars? Okay. China is sinking. Death toll rises as passengers recount horror of China subway floods. This is just weather. Lake Powell to reach lowest level in reservoir's history. Catastrophic flood in Artvin, Turkey. A flood. See all that water coming. Is this a weapon? Are they being attacked? Lake Mead. 2 dams in China's Inner Mongolia collapse after torrential rain. You heard them just say, well, in Vietnam, they made it rain for the... Well, in Vietnam, there was a war. And they were using weather weapons at that time. They must have perfected it, like they were saying, by now. Apocalypse in China. Deadly floods hit whatever it is, Zhengzhou, central China. See all of this? Six casualties by heavy floods in Iran. Floods engulfed Iran. 5.7 magnitude quake hit southern Iran near the Persian Gulf. Look at this. One casualty in Iran water shortage, right? Right here, you got heavy floods in Iran. Right here, you got Iran water shortage. Which one is it? It's everything. All right, and we could go on. Lake Mead. All right, I believe the point has been made. Asymmetric warfare in World War III is going on under everybody's nose. The water level keeps dropping at Lake Oroville. Unrecognizable Lake Mead. All right, water wars. You got to wake up and understand that you're in the middle of a war, and it's going to knock on your door at any time. Thousands evacuated from floods in China's Sichuan. More rain in the forecast. Wow. All right, that's good. All right, the point has been made. All right, understand that you're in the middle of a war, right? World War III is on and popping. And what's going to happen? The big ambush is what's going to happen. This is Joel. All right. Joel 3 and 2, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the Valley of Jehoshaphat. The Valley of Jehoshaphat is the Middle East. Jehoshaphat means Yahweh, which is the name of the Most High. Yahweh, which is Jeho, or Jehovah, if you will. Shaphat, meaning judgment. God's judgment. All right? NIV, I will gather all nations, bring them down into the valley of God's judgment. There will I put them on trial. What happens before you get your sentence? Well, you go before the judge. Judgment. This word Shaphat means judgment. Therefore will I, who's I? The Most High will put them on trial for what they did to my people Israel. I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. There will I judge them for harming my people. All right? Well, World War III has already started. Now they're going to be gathered down into the Middle East for the final showdown. All right? And what's going to happen in the final showdown? These things are going to show up like they did. Like they did when God, if you will, right? He lured the Egyptians down into an ambush. All right? What is an ambush? Well, you get your forces on this side and on this side, and through the middle, what you want to do is you want to bring the people that into the kill zone. This is the kill zone. All right? Well, what did Moses do? He set up an ambush. Moses, okay, here's Moses, right? And here's Moses's Air Force. Okay? And what did they do? They marched their people, Israel, this way. And then the Egyptians ran after them. And right when the Egyptians, okay, the Israelites made it across, and the Egyptians were in the kill zone. Then what happened? All right? Do we have to get the account? What is it? Exodus 14? Let's get it real quick since we're discussing war and The trials of war. Let's see. I think it's 14 and 21. Let's see. Right here. Let's start right here. All right. Hey, parting of the Red Sea. Start here at 15. Exodus 14 and 15. The Lord said to Moses, why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites, go forward. And as for you, lift up your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it, so that the Israelites can go through the sea on dry ground. And I will harden the heart of the Egyptians so that they will go in after them. Well, the Most High is setting up an ambush. Then I will gain honor by means of Pharaoh and all his army and chariots and horsemen. Why did God do this? So everybody will know that he is the all-powerful, omnipotent God. Okay? This is the same thing he's going to do when he destroys all of the armies of the world in World War III, when he gathers them down into the Valley of Jehoshaphat to destroy them for what they did to his people Israel. Then will I gain honor by means of Pharaoh and all his army and chariots and horsemen. The Egyptians will know that I am the Lord when I am honored through Pharaoh and his chariots and his horsemen. And the angel of the Most High, who had gone before the camp of Israel, withdrew and went behind them. The pillar of cloud also moved from before them and stood behind them, so that it came between the camps of Egypt and Israel. So this cloud, here it is right here, this cloud, all right, is on the side of the Egyptians. The cloud was there in the darkness, but it lit up the night so all night long neither camp went near the other, was protecting them. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and all that night the Lord drove back the sea with a strong east wind that turned it into dry land, so the waters were divided. You see? See all the players? There's Moses. There's the sea. There's the cloud that stood between the Egyptians and the Israelites. All right? And the Israelites went through the sea on dry ground with the walls of water on their right and on their left. You see this? Here's the visual. They went through. Now what else happened? And the Egyptians chased after them. They went straight into the kill zone of the ambush. Okay? All Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen, and followed them into the sea. At morning watch, however, the Lord looked down on the army of the Egyptians from the pillar of fire and cloud, right here. Okay, ringside seats, to the ambush. I'll read that again. At morning watch, however, the Lord looked down on the army of the Egyptians from the pillar of fire and cloud, and he threw their camp into confusion. He caused their chariot wheels to wobble so that they had difficulty driving. Let us flee from the Israelites, said the Egyptians, for the Lord is fighting for them and against Egypt. Fighting for them against Egypt. Then the Lord said to Moses, stretch out your hand over the sea so that the waters may flow back over the Egyptians and their chariots and horsemen. So Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and at daybreak the sea returned to its normal state. That's the ambush. And as the Egyptians were retreating, the Lord swept them into the sea. The waters flowed back and covered the chariots and horsemen, the entire army of Pharaoh that it had chased the Israelites into the sea. Not one of them survived. All right? This war that happened, this is a famous account. Okay? Well, the same thing is going to happen again. Okay? Here it is. There's an ambush. Okay? Let me go back. Here's the ambush. I will gather all nations and bring them down into the Valley of Jehoshaphat. That sounds like the Valley of Jehoshaphat right there. An ambush. Okay? There will I judge them for harming my people. I will gather the armies of the world into the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Well, let's see what that looks like. Okay. Let's go here. This is Revelation 12 and 7. Then a war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. Well, what does that look like? Looks like this. All right. Here's a visual. This is Michael and his angels, and this is the dragon. Got to use these visuals so you can understand what the hell is going on here. All right. Let's get the KJV. Revelation 12 and 7. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his blue angels. Oh, there they are. They're the blue angels. Here's Michael and his angels. All right. And prevailed not. Who prevailed not? The dragon and his angels. They got that ass whooped. They got led into the Valley of Jehoshaphat, which is a trap. It's an ambush. Now, what is this? That's a chariot. Yeah, swing low. Swing low, sweet chariot. What? It doesn't say UFO in the Bible, though. This is what God does. Okay. Psalm 104 and 3. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the water, who maketh the clouds his chariot. What? This cloud, the pillar of cloud by day, led Pharaoh and his army into the ambush. Same thing. Wait a minute, what's this? This is in that same story. Hold on. What's happening? All right. Now, what is this? This is water being used as a weapon of war. And there you have it. Is this not water that destroyed the Egyptian army? Okay. All right. This is the Valley of Jehoshaphat. This is the ambush. When Pharaoh and his army get in the middle of that thing, the armies of the world in World War III, this mountain, this cloud, right? The weapon systems on these things are going to devour this primitive nothing. All right? Well, let's get it real quick. Let's get this real quick. All right? Because it's already going down. This is the final act in World War III.
This morning, a report that the government cannot explain those.
A whole fleet of them.
There's a whole fleet of them.
This morning, a report that the government cannot explain those mysterious objects caught on video by the military. From an upside-down pyramid-like object hovering above a Navy destroyer to cylindrical spheres disappearing into the ocean.
Splashed. Mark bearing and range.
To video allegedly showing one of the U.S. Navy's stealth ships tracking an unidentified object in the sky. Now, ahead of the release of a...
Okay, so, hey, are we at war or what? Let's go to 2nd Esdras. 2nd Esdras 13:1, and it came to pass after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that it moved all the waves thereof, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. All right, that's talking about the one you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, whose name is Jehoshaphat. With the thousands of heaven. Who's the thousands of heaven? The angels. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. Uh-oh. Talk about these. That man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. These things, the angels, all right? And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. The weapon systems on these things were far superior to anything that these guys had. All right? And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the men that came out of the sea. Let's get that. That's back in Joel. I will gather all nations and bring them down into the Valley of Jehoshaphat. After this, I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men. I will gather all nations and bring them down into the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Here's the gathering. After this, I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the men that came out of the sea. These guys were gathered together to fight against these guys. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. One of these was so huge that they thought it was cut out of the side of a mountain range. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, but I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid. These guys were scared shitless. So locking up this. These guys were scared as hell. We got to go back to it? God, look at that. My God. Where'd it go? My God, they were sore afraid.
Object hovering above a Navy destroyer to cylindrical spheres disappearing into the ocean.
Splashed. Mark bearing and range.
To video allegedly showing one of the U.S. Navy's stealth ships tracking an unidentified object in the sky.
138 knots.
Now, ahead of the release of a
They were sore afraid. Look, wait, let me go back to this. They're fleets.
There's a whole fleet of them.
This morning,
They were sore afraid. Period. Okay? And yet there's fight. They were sore afraid and fought anyway. Okay? Now here's the weapon systems of these things. Okay? Of these things. These little bombs and rockets ain't about shit. Okay? All right? And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. They're describing the weapon systems on this vehicle. And they were all mixed together. The blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. So these guys lost. They got burned up, and there was nothing left but dust and smell of smoke. Because the weapon systems on these clouds, on these pillars of fire, on these swing low sweet chariots, on these mountains, she'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. Okay? Let's get that real quick. Wikipedia. She'll be coming around the mountain. Whatever could that mean? She'll be coming around the mountain. When she come, when she come. The original song was published in Old Plantation Hymns in 1899. It ostensibly refers to the second coming of Yahushua Mashiach and subsequent rapture, with the she referring to the chariot that the returning Christ is depicted as driving. What? She'll be coming around the mountain. What? The mountain? What mountain? What mountain? But I beheld, this is 2 Ezra 13 and 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. She'll be coming around the mountain. All right? So anyway, that's enough for today. We're in the middle of World War III. Wake up and get your popcorn because the show is about to begin. All right, so with that, we hope that the elect were edified. And until tomorrow's World War III Daily Update, I'm going to say shalom.